In this video we're going to cover some reporting basics and a quick export. I'm going to go to my donors list and just do a simple query. First 100 people in my donor list, and that's fine. So here it is, and you'll see that I've got an employer name column, I've got a home phone, I've got a biz phone, email, and contribution column, a cell phone. At this point, if I just click print and choose preview, it'll print exactly what I see on my screen. It always asks me what printer I'm going to go to after I preview. I just click through on that. And you see I've got what was in my list is now on the screen. I've got a couple columns here that have pretty much got no data in them, so let's get rid of those columns. To do that, I'm going to click on this format, and I'm going to go down to employer and uncheck that. I'll go down to the phone number for business and uncheck that as well. Again, I'll click OK. Those two columns are now gone. So when I select print once more and do a preview, the employer and the biz phone is now gone, giving me a little more room on my page. Whatever it is you're printing, you have to be aware of the fact that it's going to have to fit onto a sheet of paper. Sometimes, however, you don't want to be restricted by the width of a sheet of paper. You may just want to export that information out. I'm going to do that right now. I'll click export, and I'll just call this first 100. And it went out to my temp folder, which is located right here. And when I double click on this file, it goes into Excel, where I can now format this to look exactly the way I want, or maybe subtract some columns. Maybe I really don't want the cell phone anymore, so I'll delete that column out of there. And I'll leave the phone. Maybe I'll put the email out on the end. So instead of putting it there, I'll put it there and move it out. There again, now I'm just playing around in Excel. Another area to take a look at real quickly for reporting, if I click on the reports button, we've got a couple of reports, a couple things that might be interesting for you. If I chose labels and choose OK, I can always print labels anytime I want. Single click, there it'll produce all the labels for everything I've got in that list. There's 4 pages worth of labels here. I'm going to go do a query of my volunteers. I'll reset, I'm going to group, I'm going to go to my volunteers. I'm going to get all my volunteer people. So in my database I've got 246 volunteers. I can also go to my reports and say give me a volunteer check list by check, and I don't want the support, so I'll click that off, and it'll come back. It'll take a few seconds to generate depending on how many volunteers you've got, but here now I've got by name what it is they're volunteering for. So I've got an activity called Assist with Event Planning. This person has said they'll do. And the Marketing and PR, this person said they'll do. Russell Boring has said that he'll help with the internet auction. So it's a way for me to kind of review what my volunteers are willing to partake in. Another canned report that we have that might be of interest for you is under Contribution Pledges. Expand the Reports branch, and you'll see several different reports in here. But the report that you might find interesting is the by event. I'll choose all, and I'll pick a date range of just this year and click OK. And here's a listing of my events and the contributions raised by those events. Of course, I can get that information very quickly in another area up here by clicking on events. When I do a search, one of the columns in this is the contributions that have been raised in that. This, however, is not date range. This is total. In subsequent videos, we'll discuss some more things you can do with the formatting and using the pivot function to get summary information.